Did you know that JP Morgan, the bank that once called Bitcoin a fraud, has secretly spent $12 billion developing blockchain technology? While CEO Jamie Dimon publicly criticized cryptocurrency, his company is building one of the world's largest blockchain networks. What does this mean? The truth they don't want you to know is this. Blockchain isn't just about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. It's about the power to control the global financial system. And this game is changing completely. Today, I'm going to expose the secrets that 99% of people have no idea about regarding the silent revolution happening right before our eyes. After watching this video, you'll understand why banking giants are simultaneously fighting Bitcoin while massively investing in blockchain and how this will impact your wallet. The truth is that blockchain isn't designed to free you from the financial system, but to control you more effectively than ever before. Listen, most people fundamentally misunderstand one basic thing. Blockchain doesn't equal cryptocurrency. That's just one single application of this technology. Imagine blockchain like the internet. Bitcoin is like email, just the first application, not the whole thing. And just like the internet changed every industry, blockchain is changing how the financial system operates. You know, every time you transfer money, banks have to record it in a ledger. This ledger is kept secret, only they know. They can modify, manipulate, even lose data. Distributed ledger completely changes this game. Instead of one single ledger controlled by banks, now there are thousands of identical copies stored everywhere. No one can modify it, no one can fake it. Why do banks both fear and desire this technology? They fear it because blockchain could make the traditional banking system obsolete. Why need banks as intermediaries when two parties can transact directly? But they also desire it because blockchain helps them cut massive operational costs. Every year, banks spend hundreds of billions of dollars on payment systems, reconciliation, and verification. Blockchain can reduce these costs to almost zero. And most importantly, whoever controls blockchain will control the flow of money. Do you see the contradiction? Jamie Dimon calls Bitcoin a fraud, but JP Morgan creates JPM Coin, their own cryptocurrency. This isn't a contradiction, but a strategy. JPM Coin isn't meant to replace the dollar. It's designed for JP Morgan to completely control their customers' transactions. Every JPM Coin is stamped with detailed information about the owner, origin, and destination. They're creating a perfect surveillance system. In the traditional system, banks only know who you send money to. With JPM Coin, they can track where every dollar goes, what it does, what it buys. That's absolute control. JP Morgan isn't working alone. They've pulled over 400 major banks worldwide into their Interbank Information Network, or IIN. What does this mean? Previously, each bank had its own system. To send money internationally required multiple intermediaries, took days, cost high fees. Now, these 400 banks are connecting through blockchain. Transactions happen in seconds, costs are almost zero, but everything is controlled by JP Morgan. SWIFT, the current international money transfer system, is endangered. Every day, SWIFT processes about 35 million transactions, earning billions in fees. Blockchain can do the same thing at a fraction of the cost. No more need for SWIFT. But here's what's important. Whoever replaces SWIFT will control global money flow. And currently, this race is happening between JP Morgan, China, and a few other giants. Do you think central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, are meant to compete with Bitcoin? Completely wrong. CBDCs are designed to absolutely control every transaction you make. Every digital dollar can be tracked in real time, restricted for specific purposes, recalled at any time, and have negative interest rates applied directly. This isn't money, it's a control tool. China has tested digital yuan, or DCEP, on over 200 million citizens. The result? Perfect surveillance. The Chinese government can know what you buy, where, when, prevent inappropriate purchases, apply instant financial penalties, and control savings as well as spending. This is the future governments want to implement globally. The Federal Reserve publicly says they're researching CBDCs. The truth is they've been developing it for a year already. Project Hamilton, the codename for FedCoin, has processed 1,700,000 transactions per second in testing. This number is 20 times Bitcoin's capacity. Why are they hiding it? Because FedCoin will completely replace cash. When that happens, every transaction must go through the Fed. They will control every dollar in the economy. Meanwhile, many other countries are also racing to develop their own CBDCs, but the question is whether we're truly independent when most blockchain technology comes from China or the US. Did you know Walmart has used blockchain to track every mango from farm to supermarket? But that's just the surface. What's truly important is that Walmart is using blockchain to control their entire financial supply chain. Every supplier, every transaction, every payment is recorded and controlled. The result? Walmart can know exactly the cost of every product, control prices from the source, eliminate suppliers who don't comply, and create a perfect monopoly system. The global trade finance market is worth $10 trillion. Currently, this process requires dozens of documents, takes weeks, costs high fees. Blockchain can do everything in minutes, but whoever controls blockchain will control global trade. Maersk, the world's largest container shipping company, has created TradeLens, a blockchain platform for logistics. Over 100 ports and shipping companies have joined. What does this mean? Maersk now knows what goods are moving, from where to where, how much they're worth, and who owns them. They're creating a global trade map. HSBC, Standard Chartered, Deutsche Bank have all deployed blockchain for supply chain finance. The goal isn't to serve customers better, but to control. When all trade transactions go through blockchain they control, these banks will have unprecedented power, deciding who can do business with whom, controlling global prices, and creating or destroying supply chains. Smart contracts aren't smart as the name suggests. They're just pieces of code that automatically execute when conditions are met. But what's scary is, once activated, no one can stop them. Imagine you borrow money with a smart contract. If you're late by one day, the smart contract automatically calculates penalty interest, deducts money from your account, even locks collateral assets. No negotiation, no exceptions, no human compassion. Quorum is a blockchain platform developed by JP Morgan. They've created thousands of smart contracts to automate lending, insurance, payments, and investments. What's the ultimate goal? Completely remove the human element from the financial system. Every decision is made by algorithms. Every transaction is automatic. Whoever writes the code will control the system. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, claims to be decentralized finance, but that's not entirely true. Most DeFi protocols are controlled by a small group of developers and large investors. Ethereum, DeFi's main platform, has over 60% staked by just 5 large entities. In reality, DeFi is just another form of centralized finance, hidden behind a decentralized facade. And most importantly, major banks are secretly buying up these DeFi protocols. They understand that instead of fighting, it's better to acquire and control from within. A global power struggle is silently happening through blockchain. China isn't just developing digital yuan domestically, but is also exporting CBDC technology to over 20 countries under the Belt and Road Initiative through the Digital Silk Road project. The goal is to create a global payment system independent of the US dollar. America's response is the Fed rushing to develop FedCoin while pressuring allies not to use China's CBDC system. This is the biggest power struggle of the 21st century. The European Central Bank is developing digital euro, but they're already behind. China and the US have major advantages in technology and deployment. Europe risks becoming a digital colony of one of the two superpowers. Blockchain will change everything in ways most people don't realize. With blockchain, every transaction is permanently recorded and there's no way to erase it. In the traditional system, you could still use cash for private transactions. With CBDCs, every dollar can be tracked. The future we're heading toward is a world where governments and large corporations will know what you buy, where, when, with whom, and for what purpose. This is the end of financial privacy. China has deployed a social credit system based on digital payment data, and similar systems will spread globally. How it works is simple. Buy too much alcohol and your score decreases. Donate to charity and your score increases. Transact with bad people and your score decreases. Comply with policies and your score increases. Low scores mean you can't borrow money, buy a house, fly on planes, or send your children to good schools. With CBDCs, governments can apply negative interest rates directly to your account, making money automatically lose value over time. The goal is to force spending, prevent hoarding, and control economic behavior. The result is you can't save, can't accumulate wealth, and always depend on the system. So how do you protect yourself in this new world? The most important thing you need to understand is that blockchain isn't designed to free you from the financial system, but to control you more effectively. What you need to remember: CBDCs aren't money, but control tools. Enterprise blockchain creates new monopolies. Smart contracts eliminate flexibility and human compassion, and whoever controls the code will control the system. Your survival strategy must include diversification. Don't put all eggs in one basket. Keep part of your assets in physical form like gold and real estate. Have skills that create value independent of the system. You also need to learn and adapt by understanding technology so you won't be deceived, following policies and trends, preparing for major changes. Equally important is building networks by connecting with like-minded people, creating mutual support systems, and not depending entirely on the official system. What future awaits us? There are three possible scenarios. The first scenario is complete centralization, when a few large corporations control the entire global blockchain system and every transaction is monitored and controlled. The second scenario is multipolar competition, when China, the US, and some other powers have their own blockchain systems competing for power. The third scenario is fragmentation and conflict, when blockchain systems are incompatible, creating trade barriers and economic conflicts. In every scenario, ordinary people remain pawns in other people's chess games. Now you understand why JP Morgan simultaneously criticizes Bitcoin while massively investing in blockchain. This isn't a contradiction, but a strategy. They hate Bitcoin because it escapes their control, but they love blockchain because it can help them control everything else more effectively. The important things to remember are that blockchain beyond crypto doesn't mean more freedom, but possibly more control. CBDCs are the ultimate control weapon, not meant to compete with Bitcoin. Enterprise blockchain creates new empires with unprecedented power. Smart contracts eliminate the human element and create systems without compassion. And the blockchain war is a global power struggle whose outcome will shape humanity's future. The final question for you: will you be a conscious participant in this revolution, or just a passive victim of it? If this video opened your eyes to the truth about blockchain beyond crypto, please share it to awaken more people. Knowledge is the only weapon we have in this fight. Don't let them continue to keep you in the dark. The future belongs to those who understand the true nature of the game.